debate by operating under so many idealistic assumptions. Because when we enter this debate, they tell us it's not a matter of distribution, it's not a matter of the prices, it's all a matter of whether or not the effectiveness of these products are actually being ensured depending on the patents. We believe, ladies and gentlemen, that closing opposition needs to prove to us first whether or not the pursuance towards ensuring the quality and the effectiveness of these products actually depends on whether or not they are being patented. Because to begin with, we all know that when a certain something is being studied independently by a certain someone, let's say a certain pharmaceutical company, that pharmaceutical company has not garnered all possible resources, which is why we believe that by actually removing patents, we're also attracting the government to actually develop and to actually be incentivized in developing these products. Why? Because once any consumable, whether it is a food, it is a drink, or whether it is a life-sustaining drug, it is now the responsibility and the accountability of the government when they start to bleed into society. Because we believe that once we remove the patent, then we're already outsourcing these products both within the country and outside. Because when certain particular context actually direly needs these life-sustaining products, then of course the government will have to be incentivized in giving them these products. But before they do so, they must first ensure the effectiveness and the quality of these products. How is this so hard to comprehend? Let's talk about government regulation on prices, because in this debate, obviously, opening and closing opposition don't come into an agreement. So let's engage them both. Opening opposition talked about the regulation on prices and how it's actually better if we maintain the patent, because at the end of the day, these products will still be highly expensive even if we remove them. That's the case. Because there's what we call hoarding. There are certain trends when we talk about the distribution of certain products and the allocation, when we talk about certain contexts. Because when we talk about when a certain product is only independently studied and independently monopolized by one certain individual or one certain pharmaceutical company, then it actually opens leverage for abuses. Why? Because if that company decides to monopolize, to hoard, and to probably scare people off into thinking that the product is very, very rare, which is why they have to increase the cost of that product, which actually leads into the mindset that that product is really, really rare. Therefore, it's probably reasonable when it has a very expensive price. It actually leads to that mindset, which is why it is more open to abuses when it is patented by one individual independently or one pharmaceutical company alone. When we actually legitimately recognize it coming from the government, we believe that there are better regulation. We believe that the prices will actually be regulated because the government itself now has accountability. The government itself now has a responsibility towards its constituents in ensuring that their products are not expensive enough for these people not to avail it. Yes,
Okay, going back to the business and the persons who create such drugs at that, how the hell will you motivate or again reassure them that they'll get something at the end of the day of what they've invented or created if the patent is no longer there?
When we remove the patent, then we're already driving competition. Once there's competition, there are also incentives for production development. That's the issue of our paradigm. Because when you do not have a certain product being patented by one individual alone, then there are reasons for other companies to improve or to be incentivized to develop their products as well. How is that so hard to understand? Third point of rebuttal, it's about how they talk about removing patents also removes intellectual properties. We believe that it doesn't necessarily strip that individual who have already poured so much time and effort towards the study of actually all the incentives and all of the compensation, because it is already his prerogative whether or not he actually wants to sell it to other companies. Then there are still incentives coming from his part. We believe that it's not only for the benefit of this one individual on a microcosmic level, but also for the vast majority of the people here who actually need it. When you go to Angola, you have people with the vast majority of their citizens who direly needs treatment for their HIV. We believe that when certain products, when life-sustaining products anchored to these diseases, we actually believe that there are reasons for people not to actually, survive at the end of the day. Because once these are being monopolized, once these are being hoarded into one single context alone, then the availability and the distribution itself is being hampered. So let us reiterate what closing government has introduced to you in this debate. Let us highly characterize third world countries. So we talk about third world countries, we talk about countries who lack tangible healthcare policies, countries who are not capable of really providing their citizens with proper healthcare benefits. And we believe that through our policy, we're already at some point. It actually serves as the first step for actually eradicating that. But before I proceed, Hiram.
Your main burden is this. You should first prove to us that the availability and accessibility and the efficacy of the medicine will not be affected if ever you will remove the patent.
Actually, we believe that it is highly affected for the better good.
Sure.
Why? Because when a certain product is being patented by one individual, then it is open to abuses. That individual could monopolize, that individual could hoard, that individual could actually manipulate the trend within the market system. We actually believe that through removing the patents, then we're also allowing competition to bleed in. And once we do that, then the distribution and the effectiveness of these products, because there are already incentives for production development, will now be flourished towards the vast majority of the people who actually direly needs it. We're not only here for the benefit of the masses, because we believe that the masses must survive at the end of the day. We're also here for the benefit of the study, because we believe that once you actually remove patents, then you're also opening floodgates for developing these studies, because there will now be competition, and these people will inherently be profit-oriented. So at the end of the day, they continually believe that they need to improve their product because they need to be better than their competition. Now, closing governments and extension to this debate are very simple. We believe that removing patents would mean gathering all resources for the development of the study, because now you're not only independently studying for the development of this product, you're getting the help of the government, you're getting the help from your motives through your competition. So at the end of the day, we're developing the products and the study itself. Number two, the production means availability for the masses, particularly in third world countries, because you cannot deny the problem on healthcare policies, how this lacks tangibility, and how at the end of the day, we need to, as much as possible, distribute the resources. And lastly, it closes doors of abuses for proper allocation of consumables. Thank you.